Hey guys, so in this lecture we are going to be talking about DOM. I know it sounds like a very fancy word, but it's just how HTML works and how we can interact with it using JavaScript. So let me elaborate a little. So DOM is nothing but it's the short form of document object model. Let me write it down for you. So document, that's where the D comes from, object, that's where the O comes from, and model. So this says that there is a model that the HTML will follow, and let's quickly see what that HTML DOM model is. So the HTML DOM model is constructed as a tree of objects. So you can imagine at the top there is a document, then you have the root element which is the HTML tag that you code, then you have a head or a body, that's how you split your code into, and then head may have a title and the title may have a text. Similarly, body may have links or maybe a header which is h1 and a, and it will have a reference which is href as an attribute and the link value. Similarly, the header. This is a very simple HTML page that you can see in the DOM form. Now with the object model, JavaScript gets all the power it needs to create dynamic HTML. So now JavaScript can change all the HTML elements in the page. So it can actually change the HTML elements that you see on the page. Let's say if I want to change this h1 tag, I can very well do that. JavaScript can also change all the HTML attributes. So href is an attribute. You can change href using JavaScript. Similarly, you can change the CSS styles in the page. So if there is any CSS style on the page, let's say how the link appears, let's say it was green color and you want to make it a blue color link, you can very well do that using JavaScript. You can change the CSS for it. With JavaScript, you can also remove existing HTML elements. So let's say I don't need this link any longer, so I can just remove it using JavaScript. JavaScript can also add new HTML elements. Now that it can remove, it can definitely add new HTML elements. JavaScript can react to existing HTML events in the page. So you would have seen many websites when you scroll onto something, you see a different text or a different color coming up, some kind of an animation out there. Those are all controlled by events. So everything, what happens on an event when the user comes in or the mouse comes in or user types in something. You have seen your Google search, the moment you start typing in, you press down the key, there is some kind of a search that gets started. So that's all done by JavaScript. Now JavaScript can also create new HTML events in the page. So it's not only that it reacts to events, it can also create new events. So let's say if an event occurs, you can create a new event that can occur based off the first event. So there are many such possibilities. So that was just an overview of what DOM is. Now, before we move ahead, I just wanted to make sure that we also understand the HTML or W3C standard definition for DOM. So let me just narrate it to you. The W3C document object model, which is DOM, is a platform and language neutral interface that allows programs and scripts to dynamically access and update the content, structure, and style of a document. And that's what we talked about, that with JavaScript, you can update the HTML, CSS, and you can play along with the events. Now, just like any other DOM, there are actually three types of DOM. One is the core DOM, one is XML DOM, and one is HTML DOM. So we are only concerned with the HTML DOM because that's what we will render onto our pages. Now, HTML elements are nothing but objects. So these are all objects you can see. And this is the DOM. DOM is nothing but document object model. So these all small things are nothing but objects. Now objects also have properties and methods. Similarly, objects also have events in this scenario. So that was all about HTML DOM, which is what we will be seeing in the next few lectures too. So if you have any questions, let me know in the Q&A, but we're just getting started here.